Still your voices! This is nothing but a theory, and a poor one at that! Be not led astray by this lawyer's obvious postulation!
Objection.
While his insolence is inexcusable, I would ask that you calm yourself, your benevolence.
Is there something you would care to say, Prosecutor Sadmati?
Even if it was Abbot Inmee who moved, it does not negate the accused's crime.
What do you mean?
The accused was likely waiting for the high priest to approach.
Ah!
And, as he neared, she plunged the dagger into him. It is as simple as that.
Oh, right. It really doesn't change much, does it? Yes, it is as the prosecutor has said. In fact, it is as I meant to say all along as well. Yes, I haven't made a mistake. I'm still perfect. Everybody loves me. Right, and that's why you were so shocked when you first heard it.
Understand now, lawyer, that contradiction you conjured up has come to naught. Once I hone my insights, it will vanish like the dying rays of the sun.
Okay. He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the broken lantern, but why was his dead body in the fountain then? As life's blood spilled over, his vision dimmed till finally he passed from our world. I have objections!
See, the fact that it was Abbot Inmee who moved changes nothing.
Come on, Phoenix. You gotta keep it cool! That contradiction I pointed out must mean something. That one sensation changed after Princess Rayfa refined her vision. It stands to reason that something else might have changed too because of the refinement. I should focus on any sensations that have changed, while searching for more contradictions between them and her insights. Okay, so we're not quite to the evidence-presenting point of that yet. Commence the cure by bowing to the lanterns and reading a sutra. So he bows. Where'd the wind go? Did that happen later? As the first part, the transformation right ended, he lowered the sutra. Suddenly, he rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the broken lantern. Water. Water has changed.
Objection!
Hold it! How do we know the purification rite was performed exactly as it was supposed to be?
That's easy. The customs governing the rite are very clear, and Abbot Inmee would have adhered to them.
Well, that's strange.
Mr. Wright, would you care to explain just what is so strange?
Yeah, I would ask you to consider the sound of the victim's footsteps. The sound of bells changes to the sound of water at one point.
What's this?
It's simple. The victim must have stepped in some water.
Oh?
Yeah, and the only source of water in the inner sanctum is the spring. And therein lies the contradiction.
What contradiction?
I believe the rite started out as it should have. The victim stood with his back to the spring, and the accused stood right in front of him. But we now know that the victim then moved into the spring.
Bokunga, that's absurd.
This means the accused's location differs from what her benevolence's insight indicates.
Then, Where do you propose the accused stood once she donned Lady Kira's robes?
Based on the sound of the victim's footsteps, I believe Maya was standing here. If she was here initially, and then he was here, did he spin around and then they were standing either in the spring or on the actual statue? Until this moment, we've all just assumed that Abbott, Inmee, and Miss Fey were standing where they were supposed to be, as shown in this right's guide. In short, the victim should have been standing with his back to the spring and the accused in front. However, if that is how they were really standing, he couldn't have stepped into the spring as he approached her. The problem is, the victim did step into the spring. This can only mean that Miss Fey had actually been standing in the water.
But what, if this is true, then their positions would have been completely reversed.
And they weren't, because I guess we did see the wind indicates that was the broken lantern. It was still lit, it was just broken. So she was standing where she was supposed to have. She would have had to have completely flipped around.
Well, what is going on here, Miss Fey? Were you really standing in the spring?
I'm sorry, but I barely remember anything about the rite.
The High Priest would never make such an obvious blunder during a rite. What on earth is that even possible?
Be that as it may, this does not overturn my insights.
It doesn't?
Let us say the accused was standing in the spring. So what?
So what? This completely reverses their positions is what?
That their positions differed from what is customary is rather curious. However, what does that change? It certainly does not erase the accused's brutal crime.
I guess you have a point there.
You liars are an absurd breed. Never thinking ahead, you cling to the first insignificant contradiction you can muster. Sounds like Princess Rayfa has a pretty good grasp on what lawyers are all about.
Oh, Maya, where would I be without your brutally frank commentary right now? Is this contradiction really meaningless? No. But something really doesn't feel right. Did I take a wrong turn somewhere? No, but Abbott Inmee did! There's a lot of steam going on back there.
I will now amend my insight to account for this new truth.
Okay. He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the poolside lantern, but that doesn't work because we saw the wind going through the broken lantern.
Now the contradiction is no more.
But you made new ones!
But the truth of the matter still stands, no matter how stubbornly you deny it.
What do you have to say for yourself now, Mr. Wright?
Ugh.
Nick! Your Majesty, this lawyer may have raised a trivial objection, but her benevolence's insights have no further inadequacies of any kind.
Yes, so it would seem.
Wait a second, but there is another contradiction.
Still you flounder about, wretched beast. Though you rack that putrid brain of yours, nothing worthwhile will come of it.
Maya, please tell me you remember something that might help us out here.
Sorry, I really don't remember a thing. But now that the place I was standing in has changed, who knows? That alone may cause a new discrepancy with Princess Rayfa's insights.
That's right. We now know that Maya was standing in the spring. A major change like that could very well produce a contradiction. I should take another look at the inner sanctum diagram in the court record and confirm where Maya and Abbott and me were standing, and then focus on finding any discrepancies between their positions and the insights. The victim commenced the purification rite by bowing to the lanterns and reading a sutra. He lowered the sutra suddenly. He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the spring side lantern. Let's look again at this diagram, which is all the way on the last page. Yeah, the lanterns are what's really weird about this whole thing. Because that wind is not from a spring side lantern. But then how did he step in water? Huh.
Objection!
Your benevolence! Isn't this statement inconsistent with the vision? Oh, it's not this.
Inconsistent? I think not.
Exactly. That's where the inconsistency lies.
No, I believe it is in the defense's thought process that the inconsistency lies.
Oh, geez. Okay, all right. Guess there wasn't an inconsistency there after all. Okay. Well, the spring side lanterns would have to be one of these two. And the lantern he sees, I think, has to be the broken lantern, which he would not be facing if he was also facing the spring. Two foxes. I thought the wind would have for sure. And maybe I shouldn't point at the wind. I should point at the actual lantern. Maybe that's what I did wrong. I went by sound, and the sound doesn't matter. It's the sight of the broken lantern. Okay, I had the right clue. I was just presenting it the wrong way. Your benevolence, I found a new contradiction.
You did? No doubt it is but another of your vile attempts to slander my insights.
Nope. Take a good look at what the victim saw. It just might change your mind. The lantern flame behind the accused was flickering.
There's nothing unusual about that, especially as the wind had stirred.
No, that's where you're wrong. If the accused had been standing in the spring, then what you see here should be one of the lanterns flanking the statue.
I fail to see your point.
My point is, something is wrong here. The two lanterns flanking the statue were both outfitted with glass wind guards. So neither lantern's flame should have been flickering in the wind in the first place.
Heh. She seems pretty tickled, Nick.
I don't remember saying anything funny.
I fail to see what you wish to prove here, but very well. I shall refine the vision and reveal the truth for all to see.
I'm a bit confused myself.
Oh, blessed Mitama, I beseech you, fix your sight upon the lantern there.
Give us some better. Tune up the quality. Clean up the reception. Huh? That lantern doesn't have a wind guard on it.
and rightly so. For the wind guard was removed to reveal the sacred flame within for the rite of fire. Therefore, there is nothing odd about the flame flickering.
Say what? But when we searched the crime scene, these lanterns had the wind guards on.
That's because the police put them back on. The sacred flames have burned uninterrupted for hundreds of years, Defense. We could not risk them being extinguished, even during an investigation.
That would never fly back home.
Well, bobbed head, are you done quibbling? If so, then it is time to bow down before this testimony of the Matama.
Let's watch it again now that the vision's a little better. Can we see it?
Nick!
Don't worry, Maya. I'm just getting started. All right. Let's go over everything we know so far. Maya was wearing Lady Kira's robes and standing in the spring. The High Priest is thought to have been moving toward her. So I should look for sensations that stand in contradiction to this arrangement. I won't give up. I'm going to find a contradiction that will undermine the accusation against Maya. Okay, the victim commenced the purification rite by bowing to the lanterns. They are clearer now. Is that one broken now? Hold up. Does it now reveal? Yes! Look at how clearly and well put together this lantern is. And if we rewind the tape, this one's totally put together. And this one's busted. He spun around. Whoop, whoop.
Objection!
Yeah, he picked his thing up and then he turned around toward the lantern. Your benevolence, isn't that statement? What? Is that not it? It's totally, did I just miss it?
No, I believe it is in the defense's thought process that the inconsistency lies.
No, that's it. It's a broken lantern. Maybe I had the wrong statement. I think I had the right object in the wrong statement. I didn't look at those. Yeah. Bound to the sutras. He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the spring-sized lantern. Okay. Okay.
Objection!
Gotta get everything just right. What could this possibly mean? That lantern clearly contradicts the insight, but this contradiction will overturn the entire case I've been building.
Oh, you are right, Mr. Right. 1 minute you shout out, and the next you fall silent. You go, objection, and then you stand there tapping your chin.
Perhaps it is like the bellow of one who is barreling down a hill with no way of stopping. Is that not right, Prosecutor Sadmadi?
Don't get cold feet now, Phoenix. Even if this overturns the entire case you've built so far, the only way is to keep moving forward, because that's where we'll find the truth. Sorry, but I'm not barreling down a hill. In fact, I'm in full control of everything, with the indisputable contradiction I found.
Is that so?
The lantern behind the accused clearly, no, blatantly contradicts your insight.
Does it now?
One of the lanterns on the entrance side of the inner sanctum was broken. And if you watch what Abbot Inmi saw in his final moments, you will notice that the lantern behind the praying form of Miss Fey is broken. The lantern behind Lady Kira, however, is still intact. In short, we are seeing two different lanterns in this seance vision.
How could this be? And even if it was so, how would that contradict my insights?
Let me start by saying, the claim I'm about to raise will overturn the case I've built thus far.
Will the defense please explain himself?
Based on the broken lantern, we can tell Maya and Abbott Inme's positions. Where the accused and the victim were standing.
But did you not just finish asserting that the accused was standing somewhere else?
I did, and I built my argument on that faulty premise. But thankfully, it has led us here, to the actual spot where Maya Fey was standing. There was a third party who was standing in the water. Maya was standing where she was supposed to be, because of course she was.
I must say, if the defense keeps changing its assertions in such a capricious manner, its credibility may come into question.
It's happened a couple times already. It's okay, it's fine, Judge. I'm willing to take that risk, Your Majesty, because I believe this will be the last time. I'd like to start by pointing out the actual spot where the accused was standing.
Very well. Show us where you now believe the accused was actually standing.
Based on the location of the broken lantern, where was Maya really standing? She was standing right here, basically. Where she was supposed to be, behind Tarust. I wasn't thinking straight before, but now it's all falling into place. We know the victim had stepped into the spring. That means Maya Fey had to have been standing in the water as he approached. However, his memory, which has only now become clear, reveals that Miss Fey was standing by the side of the broken lantern. In other words, she was standing where she was supposed to be according to custom.
Does that not bring us back to the very beginning?
No. This is where things take a different turn, and I mean that literally. The victim had to have been moving toward the spring. That means that while he was moving, he had his back turned toward the accused.
What's this? Do you mean to say the victim turned around during the rite? But such an image appears nowhere in the seance vision.
Actually, it does appear. It's just that no one noticed until now.
No one noticed? How could no one have noticed something so big?
Because he had a big thing in front of his face. There was a moment when the scripture the victim was holding was all we could see. Thanks to that, none of us could tell that he was, in fact, turning around in that moment.
If it is as the defense asserts, then her benevolent insights no longer make sense. How do you intend to explain that?
Objection!
I don't need to explain anything, because it's just as you said, Prosecutor Sadmadi. Her benevolence's insights don't make any sense because they contain a huge error.
Such insolence!
Don't be mad at me.
A huge error, you say? Do explain.
The huge error is the number of people who are here. Somebody else was here. I believe this is what happened at the scene of the crime. The victim was reading a sutra when suddenly he sensed someone behind him. He immediately looked back to see someone dressed as Lady Kira standing there. Wishing to see who it was, he approached the robed figure. That's when he was stabbed.
This cannot be.
Oh, but it can, and it is. The insight stating the accused stabbed the victim is wrong. And that is the real truth lying behind this testimony of the dead. Pukunka! We're doing the pukunka.
Are you suggesting that there was someone else at the scene of the crime?
Have I misunderstood the voice of the Matama? Yet again? This cannot be.
Rayfa, pull it together. It's all right. Don't take it out on yourself. Phew, that was a close one. But I managed to divine the true meaning behind the Seance vision somehow. I should add these new facts to the court record. And also check on Rayfa, because she's kind of passed out in the middle of court.
Your benevolence, please allow me to take it from here. I will overturn the brash accusations of this faithless, putrid-minded lawyer. Yes, I shall place my trust in you.
Where you going, Rayfa? We gotta hang out later.
Are you sure about this, Prosecutor Sadwadi?
My work as an international prosecutor has taken me to courtrooms around the world. And in that time, I have learned to perform last rites for souls in trials lacking a seance.
Yes, of course. Forgive my ludicrous inquiry.
Moreover, I have with me a forensic investigator from overseas. I will show you all the most magnificent last rites ever seen.
I guess he really does think highly of Emma and her forensic expertise. I'm impressed that he's come to understand their value. Then again, he is an international prosecutor who's solved tough cases around the world. Time to hunker down, huh?
Now then, let us continue with today's proceedings. Could the defense please tell us who the third party dressed as Lady Kira was? Your new claim has negated the insights of the royal priestess, so I trust you have some evidence to support it, correct?
Yes, of course. Well, I don't know who it was. This third party must have really wanted to kill the high priest. I might be able to identify who it was if I had evidence of their murderous intent. Ah.
Well, we're waiting, Mr. Wright.
Uh-oh. The evidence that can reveal the identity of the third party is this. My attorney's badge. No, a guide to Karini's, let's see, newspaper. No. Tour, his autopsy report, bloodstained letter. I actually think it's most likely the Lady Kira's warning. Details. Do not perform the rite. I know what you are planning, Lady Kira.
Take that!
3 days before the purification rite, the victim received a warning letter from an unidentified individual.
He did?
Whoever sent it clearly meant to threaten the high priest. The letter said, do not perform the rite. But the rite went on as scheduled. I believe that is why the high priest was murdered.
Who do you suppose sent that letter?
A person with something to hide. The rebel hunter disguised as Lady Kira herself for accusing the priest of being a rebel right here in the middle of court. They are not going to be happy about that.
Peace. I don't understand. I had heard that Lady Kira that has been in the news of late only hunted rebels. If so, why would she have killed the high priest?
Excellent question. Maybe it would help to think of it this way. What if the high priest had secretly been a rebel? The high priest? He couldn't possibly have been a rebel.
the High Priest, a devout follower of Kurainism, a rebel. Do you even comprehend the degree of blasphemy of which you speak? Well, do you?
I, too, found it hard to believe at first. But as I continued my investigation, it started to become more and more plausible.
The third party was the rebel hunting lady, Kira, and the high priest was a rebel. Your mockery of Kurainism, no! Of the kingdom of Kurain itself, knows no bounds.
Whoops. That shameless Bakonan lawyer, he's making a mockery of our religion!
As a faithful Kurainist, I take issue with these claims, and I am loath to admit them into today's proceedings.
I don't like where this is going.
The defense's claims are but vile blasphemy, tantamount to spitting on the Holy Mother.
Is it really that big of a deal, Maya?
Abbot Emmy was a distinguished monk and very well respected too, so yeah.
Ugh. Please don't let this turn into an international incident.
But fear not, good people of Kurain. The rantings of this putrid-brained lawyer who seeks to sully the soul of the deceased shall come to no avail once I conclude these last rites. The prosecution's assertion that the accused killed the victim remains unchanged.
But the victim was stabbed in his abdomen. How is that possible when he has his back toward Miss Faye? Someone else must have killed him.
Are you sure about that? You may have invalidated the seance, but do not let it go to your putrid head. The karmic flow of this trial is as yet still in my hands.
How can he be so confident?
Something has occurred to me, you see. And your allegations of a third party are but a deluded fantasy. And I shall prove that by calling a new witness to the stand.
Ooh, a new witness! Alright, okay.
An eyewitness who will deliver a definitive answer that will dispel the defense's doubts.
An eyewitness, huh? What?
Very well. Let us call this eyewitness to the stand.